Do you know someone who's struggling? Someone who continues to make the wrong decisions? Could that someone be you? Have you had a problem in the past of making decisions that afterwards you were just like, why did I do that? Have you ever wanted to get help and didn't really know how? Have you ever wanted to help someone in that situation and really not understood how to do it? Did you ever ask yourself, why do I keep making these decisions? Or why do they keep making those decisions? We're going to take some time to explore and see this world through eyes we've never looked through and shoes we've never walked in. These are the sons and daughters made in His image with the potential to positively impact our community. This is raw, this is real, and this is Ransom.
With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
This show is brought to you by Ransom Recycling, your #1 choice for electronic recycling in Mobile, Alabama. Help reduce waste in our landfills by recycling all of your unwanted, unused, and non-working electronics. Ransom Recycling is a division of Ransom Ministries that is helping to put men and women back to work. Check out ransomministries.com for a complete list of acceptable items. Drop-offs and pickups can be easily scheduled through the website. Please note that we are not accepting TVs at this time. Ransom Recycling, open 8 to 3 Monday through Friday. Help our planet while helping men and women re-enter the workforce.
With every star, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head.
Hey, we want to welcome you today to the Ransom Experience. Today I get to talk to a good friend of mine who we met. It was the wildest way we met, but his name's Bill Robinson. And he's just a great guy who's really seeking the Lord and how to serve Him. And so I want to welcome you today, Bill, for coming in, and thank you for sitting down with me.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. This ministry's meant a whole lot to me. It has taught me many, many things that I'm truly grateful for.
All right, so tell me a little bit, Bill, about kind of your upbringing. You grew up here, whatever. Just kind of take me through that process.
Of course, I was born in Montgomery, and we left there when I was a couple of years old and moved to Mobile for a short period of time. My dad worked for IBM, and they were going to send Mom and Dad to New York, and they didn't want any part of that. So we wound up over here in Mobile, and my dad joined his brother Ray in the tire business.
So you started the tire business, and it was in Chickasaw. That's where you started it?
That's where I started, yeah.
All right. So tell us that story. Tell us a little bit about how you and I kind of met and why we met, because you'd been in the tire business for 50 years. What made you start just coming? Because the first time I met you, you were volunteering with us.
Yes. Well, what happened, I got very sick.
Okay.
And I pretty much had to close the business down. And so I went home, did all the TV watching and book reading that you could do. And so I called my friend that was at Spring Hill Baptist at that time and asked her what she would recommend that I do. I wanted to give back to the community in some way. And she recommended Ransom Ministries. And that's where I started volunteering. I started off washing dishes, and you and I one day, I didn't even know you, but one day I heard you saying that you had to move a bunch of stuff off your carport that had been given to you. And I said, well, Matt, I got an old tire store out in Chickasaw. Why don't we move it out there? And worst thing that can happen, we might have to move it again. And that's how you and I got hooked up. But when you came out here, you started walking through the building, and you just loved the building. And I think that's how the Lord put you and I together, and it's just blossomed from there.
Yep, that's right. I remember that day we sat there. I was trying to get rid of some Chick-fil-A booths that they had donated to me that my wife was about ready to kill me because they were stuck in my garage. So we moved them out here, and I do remember walking through here thinking, And this is awesome. I had no idea why we were in Chickasaw. I had never even been to Chickasaw till that day when we came up here. So were you always like into helping other people, serving
No.
other people?
No.
No. So what changed that? Because you said you were starting. Was it being sick? Was it what changed that?
Christ changed it. I mean, you know, I learned it through Ransom, to tell you the truth, and I know that was Christ bringing you and I together. It taught me a lot of wonderful things about it. It awoke my mind about how many homeless people there were, and how many times I'd drive across that belt line or interstate, and there were people living under those bridges that were totally unaware of. And like I said, when I would go home after I was sick, I was aware that I needed to give back, because all I'd done out here before was worry about making a living.
Yeah.
I wasn't working for Christ at that time. I was working for myself.
Yeah.
You know, and he brought it to my heart and brought it to my attention that, Bill, you got to give back. These people have been really good to you. And then that was about the time you and I met. And, you know, Christ has just been blessing me over and over and over. And you've taught me how to give.
Well, I've watched it in you, though, watch it grow. And so what you're saying is that the way that people learn how to care about other people is to just get there and start serving. Because that's
right.
really what you did. You just decided, hey, I'm going to serve. And all of a sudden, he started showing you things that you never knew before. And that's what we've told people is that, hey, if you don't know what to do, just go serve somewhere. If you don't know where God really wants you to be, what he wants you to do, just go serve other people. And he's going to show you through that. So I've seen that in you. So let me ask you this. What was it like? I remember having that first class in here for reprogram, when we started reprogram, because you know, we thought was cafe going to be out here, but it ended up being a whole new part of our ministry. So that first class, and you sat in that class, what were your thoughts? What was going through your mind?
Well, I can't quite remember who was in that first class, but I know one class that I remember in particular. There was a young man in that class, and he had a stack of cookies right in front of him, and every day he came in, he had that stack of cookies. And I learned to be his friend. I mentored him through the program. We're still friends. I was able to go to his church, an all-black church in Pritchard, and those people treated me and my wife just wonderfully. And I was thinking about this coming out here. I was able to keep him from doing something really bad that has turned out wonderful.
Yeah.
His son had his bicycle stolen, and he was fixing to do something really stupid. And I kept him from doing it. I talked him back from the edge.
Awesome.
And what he's done since that time is he's married this girl from Jamaica. They have a beautiful baby now that's going to be 1 year old here in a week. And I told him at that time, I said, Donald, you know, you're fixing to do something really stupid. You've already got one son. You can't let him grow up without a father. And all that's turned into, see, him now. I said, if you do what you're talking about doing, you're going to prison. And none of this that has happened now would have occurred. You wouldn't have this baby. You wouldn't have this wife. And that's all God, you know, and that came through Ransom Ministries.
That is so cool, because really it came through your sickness.
Yeah.
I mean, that particular thing came through your sickness. So there's people out there listening to us that might be sick right now, might be going through trials and tribulations. And that encourages me sitting here, because you took that not as a negative, but as, hey, I need to change the way I do things. So I think that's awesome. And then it affected generations. And that's how people ought to start looking at serving other people, is that you affect generations. You affect yourself, but you also affect people down the road. So serving other people, whether that be through, washing dishes, like you said, or befriending someone that is different than you, that you never would have been able to befriend. You'd have never met him.
Never would have even imagined meeting him.
So let me ask, so also serving helps you look at people the way Christ does, and there's no color, no economic, there's none of that.
Absolutely.
That's what will change our world. Do you feel that?
Yes.
That's what's going to change our communities.
Absolutely.
Is to be like that, because you'd have never, I'm speaking for you, but would you ever went to an all-black church and hung out and went to worship God?
No.
So sickness caused that.
To tell you the truth, I would have been afraid to.
Yeah. There's people out here that are listening to us that are afraid.
But, I also learned that from Ransom that you can, when we used to take box lunches.
Oh, yeah.
You can walk, I did this over in Tomanville, you can walk right past the drug dealers into a house with carrying box lunches, and you know what? Even the drug dealers appreciated you doing that, and they wouldn't mess with you.
It's called shining our lights in the darkness, right?
That's exactly right.
So you sat here in these classes, and so then we started doing other things where we needed you to help us, and you just stepped right up and started driving the van for us to bring the ladies from Home of Grace. Tell us about that experience, what that's been like.
That was great. I really enjoyed that. At first I thought, what in the world how's this going to benefit? But it turned into something really, really good. I got a chance to have my own ministry on the van. Yeah. And got to know and give some advice on that band to young ladies, and we had a lot of fun. We did a couple things that maybe we weren't supposed to do, but we stopped and fed the horses. We named one of them Ransom.
The Ransom horse in the middle of Pritchard.
That's right? Exactly right. So we had a lot of fun together, and I would love to do it again.
So let me ask you this whole COVID stuff has really kind of threw everything into a world. So how's that affected you in your service? And just tell us about that, what that's been like.
Well, it's definitely slowed it down, and if you're not, if I'm not careful, it kind of gets me down at times. But I really hope that things will start getting better here shortly, and we can get back to doing what we do best.
That's right. Well, I know they miss you, and we miss having you around. You started coming lately with the guys that we do our circle time with. So how's that been the few times you've been here?
I've really enjoyed that. It's good to hear what people that are not like you, the problems that they have, and where they had to start from. It's difficult. It's really difficult from where they're coming from. And it teaches you that maybe some of your problems are not really problems at all.
Yeah. So the reason that we wanted to talk to some people that have volunteered, people that have done stuff in the community, along with the guys and women that are going through our programs, is we really wanted people to see how much it benefits them. So what are some things, you've shared a few things about serving. So what are some key things that has affected your life through service and through actually getting out? What are some key areas of your life that have been affected?
Definitely strengthen my faith, definitely strengthen my prayer life, definitely strengthen my love for other people, my neighbor, like it commands us to do. And those are the things that just pop into my mind. But awareness of the problems of the community and the awareness of the need for us to serve.
Yeah. So if there's some people out there listening that probably have said many times, I just don't know what to do, or I don't know how to do it, or what would be the advice that you'd give them?
There's plenty to do. There's just, I was just like them for a while. But now I realize that there's just so many opportunities out there to serve and to do good work, and you get paid so much more than money.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gotten any money to do this, but I've gotten so much more joy.
Yeah.
Joy out of seeing somebody that doesn't have it as good as me.
Yeah.
But being able to lift their spirits,
Awesome.
and watch them grow.
Awesome. All right, so I try to end these interviews with words of wisdom. So that was some words of wisdom, I guess, for you. So if there is a older retired man or woman out there that's struggling with where they fit in now, what would be your advice to them?
Well, my dad used to always tell me, son, you can't go home and just sit in a rocking chair. And I've taken that advice and turned it into, volunteer work. And I now understand better what my father meant because, like I said earlier, I went home after my sickness and tried sitting in the rocking chair, so to speak. I was reading a lot, TV a lot, and it just wasn't fulfilling.
Yeah.
When you start volunteering for people, you think you're going to make them feel better, and it makes you feel so much better.
That's right.
So that would be my advice, is to get up out of that chair. And even if you don't know exactly what you want to do, go out there and start volunteering for somebody, and you'll be amazed.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. And I love talking to you, Bill. Every time we sit down and talk about something, or you got some great wisdom to teach all of us. So I appreciate you coming on the Ransom Experience. And hopefully people out there will get involved. There's so many great organizations in the Mobile area and also in your community, wherever you're listening from. I mean, everywhere has places that are missions that have, you can feed people, you can clothe people, you can help with animals, you can do whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just get out there and do something and change our world one thing at a time, one person at a time. And I appreciate your openness with us today. And God bless you. And I can't wait to get you back in the van. Hey, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Bill Robinson and his honesty about how hard it was to serve other people until something in his life really transformed his way of thinking about that. Tune in next Wednesday when we talk to one of our longtime volunteers as well. He's a retired Coast Guard. He's a Southwest Airline pilot. This guy will make you want to walk through a wall when you talk to him. He's very passionate about goals and about doing what you're supposed to do and doing what you're called to do. So I hope you'll tune in next Wednesday to hear from him. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to share our podcast with all your friends. Until then, we'll talk to you next week.
Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. With every star